Take two. Welcome to Real Authority. Today I'm doing a casual review of the new SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants because I want to save my energy for Avatar. But don't worry, I'm not going to slack it. So, with this movie, SpongeBob is basically taking into the grasp, I guess, of the Flying Dutchman. So, it's up to Mr. Krabs, not Plankton, Plankton's only in a scene, Squidward, and Gary to save him. Now, in terms of SpongeBob, I have not been a fan for a very long time, but I will admit to being a fan. It was kind of in 2021 where I kind of just lost it. I didn't really have that love anymore, mainly because of the spin offs and all the stuff they decided to do. So it didn't really feel like SpongeBob anymore. It just felt like a brand over anything else. But I mean, 2 years ago, I was still on board. Hell, I met the guy at Comic Con. I still have this iconic image, which I'm always gonna hold that special memory. Nothing's gonna change that. But I mean, yeah, I grew up. I grew up from Nickelodeon, so yeah, there is that. So in terms of this movie, I wasn't particularly like excited. Like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Yes. No, not exactly. I mean, I saw Plankton the movie, although I skipped Sandy Cheeks. I would have skipped Plankton too if the reception wasn't, I don't know, better by a landslide. I think it still holds an 80 without being certified fresh. So I decided to check it out, and it was surprisingly decent. Nothing special, not even the best SpongeBob movie since the original, which I heard a lot of people saying. So yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. So I was hoping for something on the level of that, not really exceeding it. And I mean, yeah, I think I set my expectations right. It's probably weaker than Plankton, however, and it's probably my least favorite of the four mainline SpongeBob movies. But I mean, hey, it's better than nothing. I guess starting off with the animation, I mean, in terms of Sandy Cheeks and Plankton, they had awful animation, so this one seemed to be an improvement. However, it's not on the level of Sponge on the Run, which absolutely looked gorgeous. But I do feel with the animation, its strength is in how it basically is blanking out. It allows for visual gags to pretty much shine. And you know what? Most of the humor came from the animation. So I do appreciate that. It's just not a perfectly animated movie. But even if it's flawed, like you could see a lot of the humor living with the gags. So that is definitely something to be appreciable. Of course, I've laughed outside of the animation, but most of the laughs came from the animation as well as the third act. The third act is easily the best part of the movie. Also, voice acting. Like, even if a SpongeBob media kind of stinks, you gotta admit, the actors absolutely commit to the work. Like, Tom Kenny, like, even though he's been doing this for 25 years, him as SpongeBob, it has not felt like he missed a step. And the rest of the cast is absolutely there too. Although, for the purposes of this review and also the fact that I forgot most of the actors' names except legend Clancy Brown, I mean, Mark Hamill, I think he was very good as the Flying Dutchman. I do feel that with the script, it doesn't let him go full hamming out, hamel out. I'm just gonna run with it. He is allowed a lot of time to shine to the point where he's absolutely the most energetic character in the movie, and he's absolutely a blast. He almost wants me to fudge. Also, with the jokes, I already mentioned that. I also do feel that with the runtime, like it's not perfect, but I definitely do feel it doesn't overstay its welcome. So an hour 30 minus the TMNT short at the beginning, that definitely works. And as I mentioned, the third act absolutely brought it home. There are some mixed elements, like the jokes, like there were some good jokes outside of the visual gags, but I feel like Pam Brady and Matt Lieberman's screenplay is very odd and pretty weak. Like in terms of the zaniness of the SpongeBob universe, like I'm not asking for realism. They live in the sea, in which SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea. The famous line that everybody knows. Like I'm not asking for realism, but I do feel this movie either goes too ridiculous or doesn't go ridiculous enough to the point where I did feel a bit of the story kind of straining, especially in the middle, which leads to a bit of tedium. Like in terms of the first third, like I was engaged. Like it wasn't anything perfect, but I really was engaged somewhat. The middle is where it really starts to like lose itself in the plot before ultimately getting back to it in the third act. So yeah, ultimately the tedium is a bother, but ultimately you have two other parts that are much stronger. I also do feel like I'm no longer a SpongeBob diehard, but when I was a SpongeBob diehard, I like watched SpongeBob to a major degree, in which I actually remember like some of the episodes that this movie seems to forget even existed. Like, it's trying to be a standalone film with the Flying Dutchman, but I do feel the Flying Dutchman has become such an iconic SpongeBob character that those who have watched SpongeBob for a long time will immediately notice the major, not parallels, perpendiculars that this movie has, to the point where it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, but those episodes were iconic, so why are you trying to act like none of them ever happened? The Flying Dutchman gets introduced for the first time? The what? And I also do feel it sometimes gets overcrowded, especially with its characters. Like, it's focusing on SpongeBob, Patrick, and the Flying Dutchman, while also focusing on Mr. Krabs, Gary, and Squidward. And it almost feels like both the side plots are at contrast with each other. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it does get a bit too zany, and with the middle chunk, like, it feels long, although it's trying to, like, contain a lot in it, but it doesn't really have that much. I don't know. I guess the middle chunk of the movie is where most of my issues are. Well, the rest of them, I can easily overlook them as just the film being a bit charming. But yeah, ultimately, Search for SquarePants is not a perfect movie by any means. Very good in Realty 3D, though, but I'm not implementing that into my score. This is my first Realty 3D movie in like a decade, so yeah, I mean, in terms of the SpongeBob movies, again, this is my least favorite of the four and weaker than Plankton the movie, but it does have a lot here. Animation's absolutely stellar for visual gags. The voice acting still remains solid. And the third act, like, as much as I don't want to admit it, or I didn't want to admit it at first, the third act really saved it. So I'll give it the edge and say the Real Authority approves for streaming. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 because it's not exactly perfect. It's not even coming close to the original and even Sponge Out Water. And I mean, that's not a big deal. I feel like your kids, like, if they are fans of SpongeBob still, or if they need an introduction, this is definitely the movie to take them to this holiday season. Although, I mean, you definitely have better options in terms of the SpongeBob universe. Just watch the first 3 seasons. And I mean, yeah, ultimately, I didn't hate it, and I definitely had a bit of fun with it. So yeah, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts, and let me know what your favorite SpongeBob movie is. All right, I'll see you when I review Avatar. Peace.